Peace. This is Ausir, and I am back once again, right here on YouTube, actually. And it has been a minute. But anyway, I really just wanted to come back here and drop this transmission, So, yeah, listen. Let me be real with you for a moment. What I'm here to talk about, or what Spirit led me here to speak on, is we're going to talk about pretend games. Yes, pretend games. That's what I'm calling this. The pretending, the energy of pretending. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into this. And I'm going to tell you how this all ties into this eclipse energy that we are in currently, depending on when you are listening to this. If you are listening to this at a later date, don't matter. The message is still relevant no matter when you are listening. But right now, as of September 2025, so-called, if you believe in time, we are in the eclipse corridor, as they call it. So we had the lunar eclipse on September 7th, and we have the solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, coming up on the 21st, which is now, depending on when you hear this. Regardless, that energy still may be lingering when you hear this. Anyway, I don't want to really get into that. So I'm back here. It's been a while, man. I've been doing different things in different places. The work has been expanding and shit. YouTube is a different landfill. You feel me? And I just have to expand in different places and everything. And so I'm back here now, nevertheless. But I wanted to talk about the energy of pretending, right? So, right now, if you look at what we just had, we had a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse always brings up energy that is hidden within the shadows. The shadows, meaning the subconscious mind. It is going to bring up things that you need to let go of. This can include old habits. If you've been doing the same shit over and over and over, this energy will bring that up. You understand? So what the lunar eclipse did was it shook and rattled something in you to let go. Now, it depends on how attuned you are to these energies. Some people may be experiencing different things. Now, you could be experiencing some things inside your physical body in regards to this shift. Some heaviness, feeling like your legs are just heavy, experiencing some fatigue. You could be experiencing some migraines. You may be experiencing sleepless nights. You could be experiencing some digestive discomfort. This is all because this energy lives in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind lives inside of the physical body. You understand? So these are energetic symptoms that these energies are triggering. So why are you feeling heavy? The reason why you experiencing heaviness during a time like now is because this is a moment for release. So it means that you're carrying something that you need to release. This is the moment where you are supposed to close that out, if you haven't already, and let go of old cycles. Remember, we're dealing with the end of a cycle. So what are we dealing with? The number 9. So the month of September is the 9th month. And remember, we are in a 9-year, 2025. And on September the 9th, we had the 999 portal. September 9th, 2025. So anytime you're dealing with 9, of course, we know that 9 is the number of completion. 9 also represents feminine energy, the feminine. So if 9 is representational of feminine energy, it symbolizes giving birth. So when you experience the lunar eclipse, the lunar cycle, remember the lunar is the moon. The moon has always been what? Feminine. That's where you get the feminine from. Follow me. This is why the moon pulls on Earth's waters. It pulls on the waters. This is why a woman's menstrual cycle is patterned after the 28-day lunar cycle. And we just had a lunar eclipse in the 9th month, dealing with the number 9, which is feminine energy. So the moon pulls on the water. The moon is what dictates the tides on the earth. That's where we get tides from. What do we call Earth? Mother Earth. Right? Water, again, feminine. When you give birth as a female gives birth, her water broke. You know what I'm saying? She gets wet when aroused. This is just to tie this all in together. So I wanted to make that point first, that we're dealing with not only the number of completion, but we're dealing with feminine energy when we deal with 9. This is the 9th month, and it's coming to a close. Okay? So, also, a woman carries her child in the womb for technically 9 months on average. Completion. Once that cycle is complete, what happens? The baby is then birthed through the canal. Again, the canal dealing with the waters. You understand? So, just like the woman has to go through that 9-month gestational period before she gives birth to that child, what just happened with the lunar cycle, the moon, with the lunar eclipse, it purged it. It brought up things that were dormant in your subconscious mind to be purged and cleared. It's pushing these debris out. You are supposed to release all of it. So this is what we're in. So again, a lunar eclipse on September 7th, and then a solar eclipse taking place September 21st, which by the time you hear this, that eclipse may have passed already, but still, the concept still exists. So September 7th, lunar eclipse, September 21st, solar eclipse. So in between the 7th and the 21st, after the lunar eclipse on the 7th, this represents the period of darkness, of being in the womb. So this is where you go back inside and reflect what you can no longer carry into the light, being the solar eclipse coming up on the 21st. So the lunar eclipse represents the shadow, the solar eclipse represents the light. So after the lunar eclipse came, just like a woman giving birth, carrying a child, that's where she experienced these growing pains throughout the 9 months. So this is where you go back in and reflect. What am I holding on to that needs to be released or let go of? What needs to change? You understand? What am I letting go of? So you're letting go of something. You have to let go of it before moving into the light, transmuting it into the light, which is the solar eclipse, the solar energy. So when a woman, so just look at it like this. So that period after the 7th, leading all the way up into the 21st, was the gestational period of you carrying something in the womb to be birthed. So if there is something that you want to bring in new, you want to focus on letting the old go during the shadow period so that the new can be born during the solar period or the period of light. So this is the moment where you give birth to the new solar eclipse. So I'm using the eclipse energy because that's the moment we in, but it doesn't really matter when you listening to this because I'm going to tie all of this in together. So what does this have to do with pretend energy? The energy of pretending, pretend games. If you look at most people, let's be honest. You see people on social media, you watch them in real life, you see how they all play a role. Everybody's playing a role. Everybody's playing the pretend game. Everybody wants to look a certain way for everyone else. But did they do that work during the shadow period? See, this is what it is, right? When I talk about this eclipse, what you are being called to leave behind, and I'm picking this up right now, you have to let go. You know that, like, I'm gonna put it like this. You go around people that no longer resonates with your energy. You know you can't continue to be in these circles anymore. You know that you don't want to play the pretend games. These people wear masks. It's just regular folks, man. Like, this shit is like, it's like a fucking game. They all wear masks. They're playing the pretend game because they have not yet faced their shadow. So what you're being called to leave behind is people who have not risen to your frequency to align with you. So now this eclipse symbolizes you once and for all closing out those cycles of those relationships that no longer resonate with where you are headed and where you are now. Remember, the shift always happens internally before it happens externally. So if you've already shifted internally, you already are vibrating at a much higher frequency than what you were vibrating at previously. So when you shift your frequency, that means that the old version of you has to die. And if you know that the old version of you has died, that means everything that was attached to that version of you has to also die. This means that the relationships that were attached to that version of you has to die. The old habits and the ideologies have to die. The old subconscious programming that you was telling yourself has to die, because we are moving into a new period. This is where the light comes in at, the solar eclipse. So you are being told to stop playing the game. Why are you pretending when you know you have already shifted? You're doing yourself a disservice. If you do not break out of that cycle, you will continue to perpetuate a loop of being stuck in the same pretending, the same fear, the same shit, going to the same places, visiting the same people when you know you need to leave that energy behind. Close the cycle. Remember, as I stated at the beginning, the number 9 represents endings. End it now in the month of September or whenever you listen to this, because there are cycles always going on. Let it go. This is the time to close the cycle. You understand? So pretend games. So let me get back to that message. I hope that this is all making sense and resonating with you. I am tying this all in together in the best method that I can tie it together. I hope this is all making sense. So remember, we're talking about the energy of the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, and we're being in this eclipse corridor in September of the year 2025, which is the number 9 year, in the 9th month of September. And we're talking about the energy of pretending, the pretend games. How does this tie into this eclipse energy? As I stated, you're being called to eclipse out the pretending. People who pretend. You go around these people and they still stuck in the same cycles. I know you love them and shit, but listen, fam, you have to let that go. You have to close out those cycles. You know, it's not personal, but if you don't close it out, then what's going to happen to you? You have to be responsible for you. So what I was getting at, man, I see it. These relationships, people will call you and, you know, they'll pretend as though they care about you and, You understand? They'll pretend as though they support you, but when you are someone who has really shifted in terms of your abilities to see, if you can see very well in the dark, understand? When I say see in the dark, I mean you can really see in the dark. The owl spirit is with me right now as I'm saying this. The energy is here. We are talking about being able to see in the dark. This is when you can really see people's intentions. And then when you begin to see people's intentions, you will realize that 99% of people are pretending to be someone they're not. They're pretending so that they can get closer to you in some ways. They're pretending so that they can keep an eye on you when they don't really know that you can see. They don't realize you can actually see them. You don't have to be in physical communication to be able to see a person. You don't have to be around people to be able to see a person. You can feel the energy when you are truly tapped into the field. So this is what you want to close out. You do not want to bring in that fickle, fraudulent energy with you when you move into this next cycle. Close it out. This is the moment to close it out so that you can usher in the new. You do not want to move into this energy, this new phase, playing these pretend games, even if you yourself have been pretending. This is the moment where you have to be fully authentic. You have to step into your authenticity. Authenticity is of the highest frequency that you can embody on earth. When you embody authenticity, you embody one of the highest vibrations that you can embody, because you are not carrying around the energy of holding yourself to the expectation of others, because you don't really give a fuck. When you stop giving a fuck about how people feel about you, then you stop pretending and you drop the facade. And if they can't accept you or meet you where you are, this is the moment to close out that cycle now. This is what this energy is doing. It's cleaning out your closet. It's showing you everything that needs to be cleaned out. The pretending has to stop. Everybody's fucking pretending. And if you notice, all of this pretending energy really started. I mean, I'm not going to say it started, but it amplified when social media became popular. Because when social media became popular, everybody wanted to be somebody. Everybody started learning, hey, I can just, I can post something and pretend and I can get 1,000 likes on a post. Or it became more about likes and followers than really being authentic. So now you have millions of people living for other people. When you begin to stop living for validation, you release a weight, that burdensome weight that you're carrying, that heaviness you feel in the body. That's you carrying the expectations of other people still inside of you. That's why your physical body feels heavy, because again, this energy lives in the subconscious mind, which lives inside of the physical body. You're carrying something that you need to let go of. And it might not just be the pretending. It might not be the expectations that you have or living for the expectation of others. It could also be a mindset or an ideology that you're still carrying. If you're still carrying the energy of lack, talking to yourself crazy like, oh man, I'll never have enough. It's always something. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's one thing after another. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford to say that, because your body, your subconscious is listening to you. Every time you say that I am, whatever you say after those words gets buried deep down into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is not real. But the more you drill something into your subconscious mind and you actually feel that way, the more real that thing becomes. So you have to do something. You have to close out that cycle. of pretending. Close out that cycle of carrying things that you know you need to release. But again, the energy of pretending. You can't carry that pretending. See, where you've been pretending is being highlighted. That's what this does. This is what this eclipse energy does, the shadows. So again, to get back into that, on the same day as the solar eclipse, it's a partial solar eclipse. It's not a full total solar eclipse, but still, that energy is still being felt. So this is representing new beginnings. So you're closing out one chapter and bringing in a new one. So whatever you need to end that shit now. You can't carry it with you. So on the same day, the 21st as the solar eclipse, on that same day, we have a new moon. And remember, the new moon symbolizes new beginnings as well. And remember, 9 is closing out a cycle, the month of September. So when you bring in October, that's the 10th month, which breaks down to the number 1. So that means you're starting anew. Number 1 represents beginnings. So, get those pretending, get those pretend, energies out of your circle. Get that pretend energy out of your field, your energetic field, because everyone is playing these fucking games. You understand? If you plan to expand, you can't carry that with you in this next chapter, this next season, this next cycle. You understand? That shit has to stay behind. Everybody's faking it. You don't want to be that person living for the expectation of others. You go turn on your camera on your phone and you record these posts for social media and to get likes, but then when you turn it off, you feel miserable. What kind of life is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the people who are enjoying life are too busy living. They don't have time to continuously post every single move on social media. Some people, I'm gonna tell you, some people got this shit so fucked up that they think that because a person does not show everything they do on social media, then they must not be doing anything at all. Those are the energies and entities you don't want around you because they are not vibrating at the level of authenticity. They vibrating at the level of acceptance. They are looking for acceptance from others. They are walking with the energy of codependency because they are codependent on the perception of others. You know what I'm saying? The expectation of others, the approval of others, the validation of others. That's no way to live. You understand? So if you made it this far, hopefully you hit the like button by now. And hopefully you share this message on your social media or in your circles. And again, I'm not bashing social media, but I'm bashing the mindset that has taken over with this pretend energy. Listen, man, everybody's faking it. People have become people who they are not. People say things about people on social media that they would never say to them in their faces. They would never sit down and have a real conversation, you know what I'm saying, with this individual face to face. I'm seeing the debauchery, man. The shit is out of control. And it's not just on social media. I mean, in your real life, you see people pretending for others. They're faking it. You want to be around people. You want to bring people with you that are authentic. And if they haven't come in yet, that's because you have to clear your closet so that the new can come in. A lot of us have been in this in-between space really lately. We have been in this space of we have cleared out the old energy, but we have still been waiting for the new energy to come in. So this is the final clearing of that old energy. Clear out the last of that shit so that you don't carry it with you. You make space. So again, man, I hope this message resonated. Again, I did my best to tie these pieces together. Hopefully you take something from this. And again, man, it's good to be back right here on YouTube again. It's God I Seer, the House of Ancestors, the House of Ancestors, excuse me, and make sure you subscribe. And for those of you who don't know about it, I am offering my energy translation sessions, and this is where I channel and I actually do a ancestral transmission on the symptoms that you could be experiencing in your body. Remember what I talked about energetically. You have physical symptoms or symptoms of ascension that you may be experiencing. This is the body's way of trying to communicate to you what the energy in you is trying to say, because this is energy. I'm not talking about physical health conditions. You have to go somewhere else for that. I'm not, this is not medical advice. But I will say though, that when you move energy in the body, it can help to eradicate physical symptoms, because all physical symptoms first start in the energetic body, or with the chi or the life force energy that lives in the body. And so we're going to go into that. Again, my energy translation sessions. If you would like more information, email info@thehouseofancestors.com with questions, or if you're interested in booking that session, and I'll send you a short form. You just fill out that form, and from there you pay and book your session. Once again, man, I'll catch y'all on the next one. It's God I Seer, the House of Ancestors. Peace.